Om Shanti, Shalom, Salam Alaikum, and welcome. Welcome to the World Interfaith Harmony Week, organized by the Brahma Kumaris UN office. It's my privilege to host this year's Interfaith Week. I'm Sister Jenna of the Brahma Kumaris in Washington, D.C., and host of America Meditating Radio. We've gathered together some of the most beautiful voices and sounds and instruments who will be sharing their wisdom and their heartfelt feelings about love of God and love of neighbor, a love of good. In this particular space that we're in, period that we're in, time that we're in, we're thirsting to find the good in ourselves and the good in each other. When we turn to faith, we wish for faith to do the work, and yet we all know that the work has to start inside of ourselves. The Brahma Kumaris at the UN has been tirelessly working to be of service, to elevate, educate, and inspire humanity to just move closer towards a better version of oneself and for a better world. As we invite our friends on for this very special segment, we invite you to tell your friends and also to have a notebook and a pen maybe. There'll be some really profound, powerful insights that will be offered as a gift. But we also request that you tell your friends, share this, post it, whatever you feel would be of service. And share this with your neighbor, whether it's a friend, a relative, or really your next door neighbor. But it's time for us to elevate the good in our hearts and each other. So I've invited somebody very dear to me who is not only a friend, but someone whose heart and soul just reeks God's love, God's wisdom, and God's strength. The Reverend Dr. Ivy Hilton will be joining us right now to take us into a beautiful opening of our program today with music and song. But let me give you a little bit of an insight into her heart. She's an internationally known classical sacred performance artist, psychotherapist, national restorative justice trainer, recording artist, author, and instructor for over 40 years. She's been in service to humanity. She uses the voice, singing bowls and other instruments to create a surround sound of vibration, shifting the body and consciousness into a deep realization or deep relaxation. But also I've been privileged to be a part of her journey with her program called Vibronics and Sound Spa that she hosts every Thursday on her Facebook page. It gives me a great privilege to welcome the incredible, the Reverend Dr. Ivy Hilton. Hello, welcome.
Hello, welcome. Thank you so much.
Well, you know, your music, your sound, your presence has always been something that has touched the hearts of thousands around the world. I remembered when you performed at the Brahma Kumaris headquarters in front of an audience of over 9,000 people, and you sung your song in Hindi, and you won everyone's heart in that audience, and it was not an easy one. And as we move into this week and this particular era where love for God and love for one another is so vital, I had to bring you on board to share with us your gift of sound. So tell me, what's in your heart that you would like to offer the World Interfaith Harmony Week?
Well, thank you, Sister Jenna. First, let me thank you for all of your love and power that you pour into the world. And you have certainly poured into my soul. And I'm just so honored and so grateful to be here. When you talk with me about this special event, and one of the songs that we both really love is that song called Breath of Heaven. And it is really written based on the story of Mary's journey, how she was willing to open her heart, open her spirit, open her soul to God with pure love, allowing God to use her as an instrument. Whatever it was that God wanted her to produce, whatever it was that God wanted her to create and manifest through her own spirit, she was open to that. And she allowed it to happen. And expressing that love to heal the world in ways that she probably had no idea of. in the time. And this made me want to share this song today because this is something that is a song of love, a song of hope, a song of surrender, and a song of power for healing the world. And I would love to share it. I have traveled many moonless nights, cold and weary, with a babe inside, and I wonder what I've done. Holy Father, you have come and chosen me now to carry your son. I am waiting in a silent prayer. I am frightened by this load I bear in a world as cold as stone. Must I walk this path alone? Be with me now. Be with me now. Breath of heaven, hold me together. Be forever near me. Breath of heaven, breath of heaven, lighten my darkness, pour over me your holiness, for you are holy. Breath of heaven. Do you wonder as you watch my face if a wiser one should have had my place? But I offer all I am for the mercy of your plan. Help me be strong. Help me be. Help me. Breath of heaven, hold me together. Be forever near me. Breath of heaven, breath of heaven, lighten my darkness, pour over me holiness, for you are holy. Breath of heaven, hold me together, be forever near me. Breath of heaven, breath of heaven.
Thank you so much. I was struggling with to hold back the tears. And when I look at the rest of the world and just the entire universe, it's just this feeling that the breath of heaven is upon us. If we can just think of God with love, then everywhere will be heaven. The great Reverend Dr. Ivy Hilton, thank you. I think you'll be joining us at the end of the show as we do a closing. Yes?
I will. I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
Me too. Thank you so much. It was a blessing.
Thank you.
Oh, I hope you all are aware of the kind of an energy and feeling that we are going to be participating in for the rest of the show. Next, we have the incredible Reverend Barbara Brown Taylor, who's an award-winning author and someone that I actually met on Oprah's Super Soul Sunday and who was on America Meditating Radio. What I've loved about Reverend Barbara Brown Taylor is that she had a major congregation. She has been in service in the church for decades. And one day she realized as well that her faith could be practiced inward, at home, on a ranch with her husband, and that she was fine with that she had done her decades of service and had imparted whatever needed to be imparted, and that now she's also serving from a different capacity. So I'd like to invite Dr. Barbara Brown Taylor on the screen, and I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, everyone. I'm grateful to Sister Jenna and the Brahma Kumaris for inviting me to join this parade of speakers on the reviving, renewing power of love. Have we ever needed it more? It's the central teaching of my religious tradition, though not exclusive to it, and most days I think it's enough for a lifetime. To love God, to love the good, with your whole heart and soul and strength and mind, and your neighbor as yourself. If you had to succeed at that lesson before moving to the next, would anyone ever make it to second grade? I've been working on it for a lifetime now, long enough to notice 3 curious things that were not apparent at the start. First, the love lesson cannot be locked. It lets everyone in. Anyone who is tempted to create the divine in our own image, to design a God who looks like us, thinks like us, and agrees with us about who is worthy of love and who is not, that person will have a hard time with this lesson. What could be more challenging to the followers of a perfectly designed deity, after all, than an awkwardly designed neighbor tapping at the door? One who doesn't look or think or necessarily agree with you, saying, "Excuse me, but is this where the love lesson is taught? I'd like to come in and learn more." If the key is in your hand, there's only one thing to do with it. It's time to open up. Second, the love lesson requires everyone who studies it to answer this riddle. And who is my neighbor? People have asked that question for ages, coming up with all kinds of answers. A neighbor is someone who shares my postal code, or a neighbor is someone who speaks my language, or a neighbor is someone who acts neighborly first, inviting my neighborly response. Is a Facebook friend a neighbor? How should I know? It's your riddle to answer, not mine. All I know is that every neighbor I rely on now started out as a stranger to me. And every stranger who helped me out of a tight spot became a neighbor to me. In one famous answer to the riddle, the definition of a neighbor is anyone who shows you mercy. Anyone who treats you like a neighbor before you say or do a single thing. So is a stranger someone you haven't made a neighbor yet? That's the riddle everyone gets to answer. Third, the love lesson is more like a window than a rule. Though it's presented as an imperative, do this, it's less a prescription than it is a description of how life might look through the window of love. Gaze out that window for a while and it can affect your whole view. The Persian poet Jalaluddin Rumi once said, "You think because you understand one, you must also understand two, because one and one make two. But you must also understand and." That's what you see looking out this window. There are 1, 2, 3 subjects in the love lesson: the divine, the neighbor, and the self. But there's only one verb. It's love that holds the subjects together. Love that supplies them with their and. Moving through them with such trust in their union that it runs past the period at the end of the sentence, circling back to the beginning again and again and again. Has there ever been a world more in need of and? Not but, or however, or eventually, or not yet. The word that powers the love lesson is and. To love God, to love the good, with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. If you have faith in nothing else, have faith in this. The power of and is in your hands.
Wow, each and every word that you spoke was so rich. That was delightful. Now listen, I have a next guest on, which is a warrior. We go way back and we are two peas in a pod. She was a presidential candidate, Marianne Williamson, but she's well known for her books that she has authored, her activism, her philanthropy, her humanitarianism. And she's also well known for her incredible way of looking at things. And it gives me a great honor to bring on my beautiful sister, soul sister here in Washington, D.C., the incomparable Marianne Williamson.
Hi, I'm Marianne Williamson, and I'm glad to acknowledge this week as United Nations Interfaith Harmony Week, also the work of Brahma Kumaris and my friend and colleague, Sister Jenna. The very idea at this particular moment in history of interfaith harmony is unfortunately something which is aspirational, obviously, but not happening in the ways that it should be, particularly when you think of all of the hopes and the dreams and the visions and the work that has gone into something like the United Nations. And yet today, think of Yemen, think of Armenia, think of all of the Islamophobia, think of the rising tide of anti-Semitism, and clearly we're not doing the work as a species that we need to be doing in order to bring interfaith harmony into being. I think it's time for all of us to ask ourselves very, very deeply, where do we harbor prejudice? Where do we harbor racism? Where do we harbor bigotry? Sometimes it's in the most unexpected places in our own personality, or something that we might think, well, I only have a little bit of it, I don't have a lot of it. We somehow have to take the conversation of interfaith harmony, interfaith coexistence, and take it beyond these nice citadels of institutional reality and ecumenical meetings where we all talk about how isn't it great, even though we know that even as we speak, people are dying, even as we speak, plots are being plotted, even as we speak, dangers threaten. So I believe those of us who do find in the very notion of interfaith harmony something which calls to us, something that we know we have something to do with on our earth at this time, when we look at the work such as Brahma Kumaris, when we look at the work of such people as Sister Jenna, let us see those as role models. But let's make it real and say what they're doing, I can do in my own life. And somehow, in some way, we have to find a way to do more than we have been doing. So when I see Sister Jenna, I say, she's doing it, I can do it too. When I see Brahma Kumaris, I say, Brahma Kumaris is doing it. Every group of people who are dedicated to any one particular faith or religion could do it too. But I think one thing that is clear to all of us now is that we must step up so that when we celebrate something like an Interfaith Harmony Week, we don't follow that sentence with a bittersweet smile, a bittersweet realization. It would be nice but it's not happening now. It's happening in some ways more than it used to happen, but it's not happening anywhere near the level we need it to happen to make the 21st century the survivable and sustainable place that we want it to be. Let's do the work, and let today be a day of greater devotion and dedication to that goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. Definitely. We all have to step up and we all have to rise up. If each and every one of us step into our power and begin to contribute to a better humanity and bringing love in our lives and taking care of each other, actually, we won't even be having a World Interfaith Harmony Week. The world would be like a golden age. It'll be fantastic. So as we move on into the program, I hope everyone's enjoying so far the conversations, the moments, just the energy of everyone's presence. What I'd like to do is to invite us to just take a moment of stillness and silence. There's a saying, be still and know that I am God. In other words, just to take this moment of pause, to go inside, behind your eyes, the soul, where the soul resides, just to be in that place within your spirit and hold a moment of love and peace within you. There's something so beautiful about emerging from silence, because from silence comes a wealth of creative thinking, innovative ideas, a deeper sense of commitment, meaning, and purpose. Prayer, meditation, yoga, introspection, they're all so important in this particular time. And imagine if all of your neighbors were to practice this personally. We would have a world that is just filled with love. I hope everyone's enjoying so far. My next amazing guest is the incredible Bishop Carlton Pearson, someone who presided over thousands and thousands and thousands of congregants decades ago, a mentor of Oral Roberts. But somewhere along his journey, something changed for him. He started to have a more deeper experience than a religious experience. And even though he continues to practice his faith in the best way possible, he's now become a global icon and a global messenger in terms of bridging the spiritual and religious and even the secular, trying to find peace and harmony. Today I welcome the wonderful Bishop Carlton Pearson.
Hello, everybody. I'm Carlton Pearson, founder, presiding bishop of the Metacostal Network of Churches and Ministries Global. That's people who embrace metaphysics but love the transcendence of the Pentecostal experience. That's my deep roots. And I'm happy to join with you in World Interfaith Harmony conversations and celebrations. Faith is one of the most powerful, prominent spiritual commodities in existence on planet Earth. People of faith are of the most prominent influences in human consciousness and culture. Interfaith dialogues provide, procure, and protect the most sacred conversations that humans have with each other and enhances the sanctity of our collective energies for and of peaceful coexistence on planet Earth. We don't have to go along to get along. We can mind many of the same things without having the same mind about everything. The Greek word for agreement or agree is symphoneo, where we get our English word symphony, like symphonic sound. It doesn't mean to sound the same. It doesn't even mean to sound alike. It just means to sound together. The ebony and the ivory on a piano are both necessary. But if they're all the same, it doesn't sound beautiful. When they are harmoniously played, it releases an energy in the planet, in our ears and our hearing that's very, very, very powerful. So let's decide that we will stay and stand together to make that symphonic sound in the earth. Together we stand. Divided, we're stuck. We can't grow, we can't expand, we can't evolve or evolve. So I agree with you, Sister Jenna, and all who will participate today that we can do this together, and indeed we shall. Peace and blessing to you all.
Thank you, Bishop Pearson. I can always depend on you to hit it right there in the mark. Your every word connects to us in such a way that it does inspire change. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We now have Dr. Fujan Zain, another dear friend of mine who has been doing a lot of work in healing and therapy. Someone from Iran and who has really endured religious iniquities. She has been able to rise out of that and build her own life and practice her faith in a very spiritual and private way. Yes, she does a lot of therapy and she's a psychotherapist. She's an award-winning author as well. But she also believes in God from a deep heart level and how you can practically bring your relationship of your love for God into your relationship with others. But also how you can use this to heal yourself so that you can get along better with others and definitely with yourself. So please welcome Dr. Fujan Zain.
Hello, I'm Dr. Fujan Zain. I would like to thank my friends at Brahma Kumaris for creating this opportunity to celebrate World Interfaith Harmony. As a psychotherapist for over 30 years, working with people across a variety of cultures and religions, I have recognized that human beings across the globe and across cultures have a need to believe in something bigger than us. Based on the history of each culture, people will choose their own way of believing and practicing what they believe in a way that works for that particular culture. The beauty of it is that across all faith, and even among atheists, we can find values of love, cooperation, unity, and compassion, regardless of the vision, history, and the story that each faith shares with its followers. There's one common thread, and that is the belief that in the potentiality of human beings' greatness. There's certainly a hope, aspiration, and an invitation from every faith for every human being to live their best, their healthiest, and love each other. The only thing that may hold us back is the division that we create as structures with boundaries of countries, race, color, or the name of the faith that we identify ourselves with. If we can see our similarities that are based on love, harmony, and unity, and see our differences as opportunities to learn and grow with compassionate and heart-to-heart listening and accepting of our beautiful and unique differences that creates this amazing tapestry of life with each other in this beautiful place that we all call home, the earth. Then we can unite, connect, and raise the greatness of our species as human being the light, being love, being unity, being compassion, and being one. Thank you.
Beautiful, Fujan. We'll definitely see how best we can really start to go into this inner healing. It's vital, it's vital. Jay Rosenzweig is someone that I met on set with John Legend and Data Prince when we were filming the Love One Another video in Los Angeles, California. Jay has a huge heart, a humanitarian, and someone who has bridged divides and have brought a variety of people together. As an activist and someone from the Judaic background, Jay brings to us a real practical approach in how we can have love for God and love for neighbor, or love for good. Jay, welcome.
Jay Rosenzweig, and I'm so happy to be here to be speaking about interfaith harmony, which is an issue that's really important to me. I've been fortunate over the years to have had many great mentors and inspirations who've inspired me to really understand the importance of diversity. My parents, my biggest heroes, for example, taught me the importance of accepting people of all races and ethnicities and bringing kids from all different backgrounds into the home and to my birthday parties who lived and played with us on the streets. And leading up to even law school, where I met an important mentor, Erwin Kotler, who's a great international human rights champion, and being on his board, the Raoul Wallenberg Center for Human Rights. Raoul Wallenberg being himself someone who had the compassion to care and the courage to act and save tens of thousands of individuals during the Holocaust. I just feel that if we come down to one's common denominator and really come down to what's important to us deep down, each and every human being on the planet really cares about the same things. They all want to be loved. They want to have a decent meal on the table. They want to be around family and loved ones who are important to them. And the three major religions all have this notion of loving thy neighbor and treating others like themselves. The Muslim community and the Jewish community, they all come from Abraham. They are our cousins. The Black community and our Jewish community have suffered racism and anti-Semitism in its most viral forms. And it's important for us all to come together as allies and to care for one another and to fight injustice together, because together we are stronger. We really are all one. We are brothers and sisters on the planet. We have an impending and current crisis related to environmentalism. We're all in this together, and we need to show greater empathy for one another. A person who has joy and has peace in their heart doesn't hurt another brother or sister on the planet. If you think about it, if somebody's inflicting pain on another, they're just manifesting the pain that they're enduring. And we have to sit down and understand why you have that pain and what the source is of that pain. The world has been way too divisive over the last number of years, and it's time that we all come together, from the right and from the left, the elders and the younger people, women and men, people of all colors and all cultures, because we have to bind together to make this world a better place and live together in harmony. So I wish everyone peace and love on this auspicious week of UN Interfaith Harmony.
Thank you again, Jay. That was beautiful. And as we continue to try to absorb some of these thoughts and feelings and very rich ideas, let us do another moment of silence and deep dive and go inside of the heart, or right into the soul rather, right behind your eyes. Go there into the awareness of the self and think about what has touched you so far with all of these speakers and have made you feel like you're going to take it to that next level, to have this deeper link to Source, to the Divine, to God, to Allah, Jehovah, Bhagwan, Khuda. Whatever is the name that connects to you, is the same being. But then how this energy of love that we feel from the Divine can transmit into the way we treat one another. So let's take a moment of stillness once again and emerge the love from deep within. Beautiful. One of the gifts that I love about the Brahma Kumaris is a practice that they offer called traffic control. Every hour in the hour, there's a pause with the over 1 million students that are studying in 110 countries around the world. They will pause for that 1 hour, every hour in the hour, for about 1 minute to 3 minutes, go inside of themselves, reconnect to the source, the divine, pull that love and peace and light within themselves so that they could be better neighbors. I invite you to try that too in your workplace, at home, schools, gatherings. You will see that as you practice this over a long period of time, there's a kind of a gentle, subtle inner strength that we build, that will be rebuilt inside of you very naturally, little by little. Traffic control. Just a gentle pause every hour in the hour, just for a few, just maybe 1 minute or 3 minutes, whatever time you have, it will go a long way. And now it gives me great pleasure to welcome Audrey Kitagawa, a former chair of the Board of Trustees of the Parliament of World Religions and president and founder of the International Academy for Transcultural Cooperation and the president of the Light of Awareness International Spiritual Family. Had to get that one right. Audrey has been a very dear friend of mine, someone who has really looked out for me when I've needed her on many occasions. And I was so delighted that she could take the time to join us for this very important and meaningful event. Audrey, thank you for joining us today.
Hello, everyone. All around the world, people are everywhere celebrating February 1 through 7 in events as expressions of our commitment to come together as people of goodwill to share our expressions of love for each other with representatives of different faith traditions who recognize that harmony is important. Our survival and well-being depends on our ability to live harmoniously together. I'd like to begin by sharing a poem of love by Rumi. Rumi is one of the most enduring poets of all time, a renowned 13th century Sufi poet, scholar, and mystic, revered throughout the world. His works are said to have outsold Shakespeare in English-speaking countries for at least 2 decades. The Self We Share, from the book The Glance by Coleman Barks. Thirst is angry with water, hunger bitter with bread. The cave wants nothing to do with the sun. This is dumb, the self-defeating way we've been. A gold mine is calling us into its temple. Instead, we bend and keep picking up rocks from the ground. Everything has a shine like gold, but we should turn to the source. The origin is what we truly are. I add a little vinegar to the honey I give. The bite of scolding makes ecstasy more familiar. But look, fish, you are already in the ocean. Just swimming there makes you friends with glory. What are these grudges about? You are Benjamin. Joseph has put a gold cup in your grain of sack and accused you of being a thief. Now he draws you aside and says, you are my brother. I am a prayer. You're the amen. We move in eternal regions, yet worry about property here. This is a prayer of each. You are the source of my life. You separate essence from mud. You honor my soul. You bring rivers from the mountain springs. You brighten my eyes. The wine you offer takes me out of myself into the self we share. Doing that is religion. While many people are drawn to Rumi's poetry as poems of romantic love, he was actually writing about the opening of his heart to the love of God and God's love itself, which is supreme love. For God, the divine creator, is love. For 9 years of his life, Rumi practiced Sufism, and he became an Islamic jurist and teacher. He traveled to Damascus, and while there, met a dervish on November 15, 1244, who would completely change his life. From an accomplished jurist and teacher, Rumi was transformed by a dervish named Shams-e-Tabrizi into an ascetic whose heart was open to the nectar of divine love, the elixir of God, which this dervish exuded and could mystically transmit to Rumi. Rumi searched high and low to find this dervish, who suddenly disappeared from Rumi's life as suddenly as he appeared in it. In his search for this extraordinary dervish, Rumi came to realize his eternal oneness with him and recognize that in the one consciousness, the other is himself. He said, "Why should I seek? I am the same as he. His essence speaks through me. I have been looking for myself." Therefore, the second part of tonight's theme, Love of Neighbor, addresses the importance of a universal principle, which is love of neighbor is love of oneself, because your neighbor is yourself and not separate and distinct from you, though the appearance of separateness arises from individuated form and structure. Jesus also articulated this universal spiritual law when he said, "Love one another as I have loved you." He is speaking from that place of divine unitive consciousness where there is no separation, because in the one consciousness there is no two, only one. It was also from that elevated consciousness that Jesus could proclaim to his followers in the book of Matthew, "I was hungry and you did not feed me. I was naked and you did not clothe me. I was thirsty and you did not give me anything to drink. I was in prison and you did not visit me." When his followers asked, "Where were you in such a state?" he proclaimed, "What you have done unto the least of you, you have done unto me." And so, just as I began, I would like to end with another love poem by Rumi called "Looking for Your Face." From the beginning of my life, I have been looking for your face, but today I have seen it. Today I have seen the charm, the beauty, the unfathomable grace of the face that I was looking for. Today I have found you, and those who laughed and scorned me yesterday are sorry that they were not looking as I did. I am bewildered by the magnificence of your beauty and wish to see you with 100 eyes. My heart has burned with passion and has searched forever for this wondrous beauty that I now behold. I'm ashamed to call this love human and afraid of God to call it divine. Your fragrant breath like the morning breeze has come to the stillness of the garden. You have breathed new life into me. I have become your sunshine and also your shadow. My soul is screaming in ecstasy. Every fiber of my being is in love with you. Your effulgence has lit a fire in my heart, and you have made radiant for me the earth and sky. My arrow of love has arrived at the target. I am in the house of mercy, and my heart is a place of prayer. And so it is, this wonderful theme of love of God, love of neighbor, is a most fitting way to celebrate World Interfaith Harmony Week together in the remembrance of love and speaking the words of love. For God is love. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace.
Wow, wasn't that incredible, everyone? Every single voice took us to a deeper place inside of ourselves. It's really that time, it's that call, isn't it? We can feel it. God's calling us. Even we have been calling out to God. We can feel that love is pulling us more and more into that deeper place. And of course, if there's more love for God, then there will definitely be more love for our neighbors. There will be definitely the goodness amongst ourselves. And now that we have our wonderful, the Reverend Dr. Ivy Hilton back to close us out, Ivy, please take us into the light. Make us become that light. Let us reconnect to Source. So as we move on from this event and this moment together, we will carry our light to our neighbor.
Oh, Sister Jenna, that was absolutely amazing and a phenomenal. You know, my spirit is always filled every time I get around you. But now with the voices that you brought together for this experience right here today, it absolutely brings the power of the light, the power of love. And I am feeling it deep in my soul. Let's everybody just take a breath and exhale. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the earth, and the Spirit of God moved across the waters. And God said, "Let there be light. Let there be light. Let there be light. May God heal the world. Bless the earth. Bless the earth." Now, close your eyes and breathe deeply. Breathe deeply and see the world whole. See your life free of I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in pasture. Oh Lord, He leadeth me beside still waters. Still waters. May God bless you. May God bless you. Whatever it is, whatever you need, just let God bless you. Let God bless you. May God bless you. May God bless you. May God bless you and you and you and you and you and you. Oh. Breathe deeply now. Breathe deeply now. Feel the power of God's love.
Thank you. That wraps it up for all of us today, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to dedicate your energy to our programming. Please remember to, love your neighbor no matter what they're like. We have to find a way to get along and to bring the energy of God's love more into our lives. I think this particular segment is one that you will want to play over again and again and again until you kind of, get those moments, those nuggets of realizations going deep into the heart for the transformation that is definitely upon us. Everything is changing. We are changing. Let it be that our change takes us to the expression of God's love and God's light so that we can be much kinder to one another. Thanks again on behalf of all of us at the Brahma Kumaris and especially the Brahma Kumaris office at the United Nations. They thank you wholeheartedly for joining them, and please remember to subscribe to their YouTube link and to keep updated on all the incredible work that they're doing there to make the world a better place. Take care, wear your mask, keep your distance, stay pure, have good wishes and pure feelings, and hopefully we'll see you again real soon. All the best.